Bonjour mes amis, et bienvenue en Pendu dans le Cercle de Lune. Hello friends, if this is your first time here, welcome. Thank you for coming. I'm pleased to meet you. If you've been here before, thank you for returning. I'm truly honored. Friends, if you are a returning visitor, you surely know that this is my series in which I use Cercle de Lune, Cercle de Lune adjacent, and antique Italian decks to help me explore a central message that I get from my larger weekly spread. And friends, starting this week, I have begun my deep dive into the Thoth system, the not the Smith-Waite deck, but the Harris-Crowley deck. And so I've done my large weekly spread. And the first one was larger than I expected. And if you have not seen that spread yet, if you have not seen that video yet, I recommend you go and take a look at it, because it will give you the basis, the platform from which this video is springing from. So I'll put a card up here for you to hop on over and take a look at that video and then come back and watch this one. Because the question that I ask for this video and for the last few lunar cycles, every video in this series, is what is the central message of this week's blah 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 spread? And I'm calling this spread that I used this week my elemental spread. So, what is the central message of this week's elemental spread? Now, if you have seen that video and it's been a while, let me just give you a couple of reminder hints, yeah? The title was about worry. Now, in the midst of worry, or in an environment of worry. And we looked at our conscious sphere having worry at its focus, which was different from what was in our unconscious sphere, right? In our unconscious sphere, we had a focus on creation and beauty. But there is a tension between elements of our conscious mind and unconscious mind. There was also tension between aspects of ourselves, yeah, our tension between our emotions and our willpower, tensions between what we're thinking about and what we're doing. Everything was kind of cattywampus in this week's spread, perhaps, which is the reason why worry was the central card for the spread. So that's what we're leaping off from, right? And the spread was much more complex and much more detailed. But if you have seen it, you remember, basically, right? So what I've done is I've pulled some cards. And I'll show you those cards after I show you the question that I asked those cards, all written out nice and pretty. Then I'll show you the cards and we'll talk about them, okay? So friends, here we go. Friends, what do you think of that deck? Do you have that deck? It's a cute little redrawing of the Tarot de Marseille, a reimagining of the Tarot de Marseille. It's called the Tarot Sirène, and if you're interested in the deck, I'll put a link in the description box below for you to hop on over and take a look at that. Also, there's one Oracle card you saw, right? That's from a deck by Patrick Valenza called the Zammer Twins Oracle. And I'll put a link in the description box to that if you want to go get that one too. He's just put out, or is about to put out, a second printing of this Oracle deck. I highly recommend it. I've started using it on the regular for this series. And I'm going to continue using it, so maybe you want it too. So you saw the cards we got from the beautiful, sweet, look at the backs of this deck. Just a gorgeous little deck. The Tarot Sirène. We got from left to right the Two of Cups, the Knight of Cups, the Four of Coins, and then the Nine of Cups. A lot of cups, right? And one coin. No major arcana, one court card, and that court card was facing from right to left. So, because of that, that's the direction that I'm going to be reading this spread in. Not necessarily starting with the Nine of Cups, but rather I think I'll start with the Knight of Cups. Now, I hope you heard the difference there. Not the 9, like 8, 9 of Cups, but rather the Knight of Cups. Not the Queen, not the Page, but the Knight. Yeah? So we'll start off with my Knight, which is something actually I just decided to do. Here's the Knight. Beautiful little Knight, yeah, on a manatee, I think, right? I think that's a manatee. The Knight's cup is closed, which is interesting. Knights on most Tarot de Marseille decks have open cups. This guy's got his cup closed. So there's a little bit of protection here. But who is the Knight of Cups? The Knight of Cups flows their heart. Yeah? They're idealists, they're romantics. They're willing to, they revel in offering their heart to someone they are interested in. Or to a crowd. Yeah? They like courting, they are open, they're sincere. They have simple hearts. The simple heart of a romantic. Not the simple heart of a simpleton, but the simple heart of a romantic. I love. That's all there is to it. I just love, right? It could be a lover on the horizon. It could also be love in action, bringing love out into the world. It could be humanitarian work. But for this reading, I don't think we want to go there. I think we want to go with the general characteristics of the Knight of Cups. Yeah? The idealist, the romantic, the vulnerable one, the one who's willing to share their heart and to follow it as well. But what is this knight bringing forward with him? Her or them, right? You're a knight, I'm a knight. It has no relevance. It has no relevance to what genitalia we have. Yeah? Whether we have males, female, trans, cis, intersex genitalia means nothing. Yeah? We all have the knight within us. So, each one of us as Knight of Cups, what are we bringing forward with us? And for us, at this moment, forward is going this way, from right to left. From right to left. Hopefully that's what you're seeing in the camera, from right to left. The opposite direction from which we read. So the first thing that we want to think of, I think, that the knight is bringing forward with him, her, them, with himself, is the Two of Cups. No, I'm sorry, the Nine of Cups. Because this, I think, is where the tension begins. The Nine of Cups is a very ambiguous card, if you ask me. Some people see this card as the wishes fulfilled card, which, yeah, good on you, great for that, that's great. But for me, and I suppose I could see it as wishes fulfilled as well. The tens are conclusions. The tens are the thing finishing up, wrapping up, and getting ready to move on to the next cycle. The ones, the aces, are the fresh spark, the beginning that wants to be nourished, but it's the beginning, the spark, the start. Nines are not the end, but they're nearing the end. And oftentimes nines are the ones of the breakdown before breakthrough. The burnout. Energy so ramped up that it shatters apart. If that makes sense. So the Nine of Cups could be grief. The ending of a relationship. The Nine of Cups could also be solitude and loneliness. Loneliness even within a group. It could be the call to accept the end of an emotional cycle, of letting go of something so that we can reach a conclusion, a finish line, and then start again. On the other hand, it could also be coordination. It could be this central, oftentimes in Terre de Marseille, the central cup is separated from the rest of the cups by floral decoration, giving the sense of an individual in a large group. So we have the idea of coordination, people and parts working together, each in their proper place, and accepting one's role in that group. One's emotional place, one's intuitive place even in that group. And I think it's that ambiguity that may be a sidecar to the motorcycle of worry that was indicated in the larger spread of this week. I think this ambiguity, the friction between endings and breakups and coordinate people and parts working together and accepting one's role and wishes, and maybe even wishes coming true. That tension that is indicated by this card, that might be the carryover from this week's larger spread. So the Knight of Cups here is moving forward, carrying this with him, her, them, with him. And as carrying that nuanced emotional tension forward, the Knight also bears with him the Four of Coins. Where are you, Four of Coins? There you are, right? Yeah, there you are. Four of Coins. Beautiful rendition of this card. We see the flowers and plants growing around the Four Coins. Oftentimes in the center of the Four of Coins there will be a shield, a family crest of some sort. And so the Four of Coins, for many, is conservation. Now, the conservation of wealth, not letting it disappear or dissipate, not growing it so much either, but the stability of conservation, creating and or maintaining security. It could be frugality, stable resources, using them wisely. It's also a call to not let assets, resources, wealth stagnate by not keeping them in circulation. Yeah, the working order of the Four of Coins is one of a system where an equal amount goes out as comes in. So it's not, especially in Terre de Marseille, it's not the greed card or what do we call them? The Scrooge card, but rather a living system of resources that is stable. Solid. Now, solid material assets here as well. There are also traditions and honor as part of this, and reputation, but I think it's the idea of a stable living system of resources is being carried forward from that tension space of, emotionally tense space of relationships ending, feeling solitude, accepting the end of some emotional cycle, while at the same time being part of a working group of... when I say working group, I don't mean necessarily only a group of people who are working, but a functioning group. That's what a functioning group of people. Yeah? So the Knight is carrying all of these things forward with him, her, then, the him. To where? What is on the Knight's mind? What is this Knight hoping to move into? And the Knight is hoping to move into the Two of Cups. Perfect place for the Knight to go. Better place for the page to go, but a good place for the Knight to go, I suppose. you see these two cups. They're separated by two fish-headed plants. Lovely, lovely redrawing of the Two of Cups card. And the Two of Cups could be reserved feelings. Reserved feelings in the sense of either not wanting to or not feeling capable of fully expressing one's emotions. Perhaps because one is not used to or hasn't had experience in doing that. It could be thirst for love born of either inexperience or of solitude. So if the Knight is bringing forward a sense of solitude and loneliness, then that's probably where the Knight is going. Now it's going into that thirst for love, towards a romantic relationship. But it doesn't have to be a romantic relationship, right? It could be a new acquaintance. It could be a personal alliance of some other kind, a work alliance, a friend. I don't want to say just a friend, but a friend, a non-romantic partner, a non-sexual partner. It could also be new self-development, doing the work on oneself to get ready to reconnect socially, emotionally with other people, to be ready to receive intuitive guidance once again. We've all had it. We were born with intuitive guidance, right? That's all we had when we were born, when we were babies, was intuition. And we developed other aspects of our minds. We developed our feeling minds that are able to distinguish between wanted and unwanted, good and bad, desirous and non-desirous. We're also able to develop, and it took development, our sensory minds, our ability to sense and understand the world around us. We weren't born able to do that with our human brains. That took development. Probably quicker than speech, yes, but still it took development. And then the third thing that took development was our rational brains, our rational analytical mind. But the intuitive mind was there from the get-go. And so maybe the Knight wants to do the self-development work to regain access to intuition. Or again, to find a lover, to find a romantic partner. And I don't think the larger spread for this week was based on romance, although it could be. I mean, there was a Three of Cups in the larger spread this week. The Empress does point to loving relationships and unity, so it could be that. But I'm going to bet that it's more, rather than romantic relationships, because of the other cards that were in the larger spread for this week, non-romantic alliances, I think, are indicated more strongly. So that's where the Knight wants to go. From this area of discomfort with the tension of aspects of the Nine of Cups, with a sense of stability of a living system of resources and time, money, stuff for everyday life. This romantic idealist, heart-centered and heart-leading self wants to move into community. And it might be a small community of me and you, but a community. So we had an oracle card, the Butcher. Let me show you this Butcher card up close and personal. Here is the Butcher. And here we see a hard-working butcher chopping raw meat in his shop, carefully cutting equal-sized portions to sell. And although blood spatters everywhere, it's something he has grown quite used to and doesn't seem to notice anymore. So the butcher is here in his shop, separating things into equal, portionable sizes. And though it appears messy and barbarous from the outside, from the inside, that's all stuff that he has he's gotten used to. And you see even at the borders of this card are splattered with blood, right? There's a little bit of blood down there at the bottom. Do you see that? There are blood stains on this side as well. So what does this card mean? It means a lot of things. Actually, the attributes, the keywords for this card are very diverse. We have everything from primitive urges or instincts. Yeah, the hunter-gatherer with meat. Feed, right? Raw feelings or emotions. Again, the butcher with the knife and the flesh in front and raw emotion, right? To some, this is performing unpleasant actions in order to survive. I'm not sure that the image inside of the card points towards unpleasant actions, but that could be our interpretation. It could be aggression and violence or inner conflicts. It could also be an omen and distribution. Distribution of stuff, like selling things, right? Those are a lot of very different attributes. What do you think matches the reading that we got above from the 4 Tarot de Marseille cards? Well, the Tarot de Marseille adjacent cards, the Tarot Sirène. Which of those attributes rang a bell for you? For me, I think it was inner conflicts. I think the Knight here also moving in the direction of the Two of Cups. Now, moving in the direction of the Two of Cups is moving from a platform of inner conflict, inner turmoil. And while none of these cards are elementally ill-dignified, yeah, water, earth, a lot of water and a little bit of earth, but earth is very comfortable with water. Water feeds earth, earth feeds water, and actually they're more than simpatico. They are elementally, they raise each other up. They bring each other power. So the Four of Coins will bring power to both that Nine of Cups and the Knight of Cups on both sides, lifting both of them up. But still, lifting them both up implies that there is something to be lifted up from, and I think that is an inner conflict. Which points back towards the larger reading this week being probably more... I'm lying to you. Okay, no, I was just about to tell a lie. I was about to say that the larger reading this week pointed more towards an inner state of self-created worry rather than a sensing of worry in the environment. But inner conflict can come from a sense of worry in the environment while inside there is something else going on, right? There's inner conflict there as well. So I think this is telling us that there is conflict, inner conflict, happening now. But we can move into the Two of Cups. we can do the work to clean it up. And those primitive urges that we feel when we start sensing conflict, those can be soothed. And I think the one who can soothe them very well is the Knight of Cups. We can do that self-soothing, that self-development, the inner work to be able to move into and through, actually, better than just moving into and staying, moving through the Two of Cups, where we get the new acquaintance, we maybe find the romantic partnership and move forward with them into something else, like the Three or Four of Cups, right? Does that make sense? So rather than this spread of cards restating the message from this week's larger spread, I think this one card restated the larger spread this week and moved us in the direction of the advice indicated for this week's larger spread as well. The two oracle cards were pointing towards healing disputes, finding support from our community, maybe asking for an advisor with authority to help ameliorate the dispute, whatever that is, so that we can find through the dispute something even better. But there's also a lot of inner tension within the spread as well. There were a lot of stuff was out of place. So could that also be pointing towards humanitarian work for the Knight of Cups? Doing some service to help heal others and ourselves, perhaps. That finding our space within a group also points towards the oracle cards that we got as advice for this week. So one way or the other, I think this central card of the Knight of Cups moving towards the Two of Cups is the direction we want to move in from this week's larger spread. Does that make sense? If it does, let me know in the comments below, down there. If it doesn't, let me know in the comments below, down there. And let's talk about it. If you see, especially if you've seen both videos, does that make sense? So friends, here we are. Speaking of ending of things, did I speak about ending of things? Well, anyways, I'm speaking about endings of things now. That's the end of this video. So friends, if you are still here, please hit that thumbs up button so that YouTube knows that you got something out of this video and other people will as well. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed, and hit the alarm bell so you get notifications of when I upload videos. And comment below. I would love to hear from you. What do you think? Tell me. Oh, if you want a reading from me, my email address is also below. thehangedmaninthemoon@gmail.com. Shoot me an email. We'll get you a reading. Okay, friends? So, there we are. Thank you very much for being on this journey with me. And now, as always, I wish you love, joy, well-being, and pure awareness. Thank you.